Thanks.
Okay, I would like to call to order the Village of Lansing Planning Board meeting for Monday, June 12th, 2023, to order at 7:01 PM. First order of business is to appoint Yamila as a voting member for tonight's meeting because Jim is not here, so she will be taking Jim's place. Do we have to, we don't vote on that, right? That's just an appointment? That's right. Okay, just wanted to make sure. With that said, we do have a quorum in person tonight. We do have one board member who's not here, and we do have two board members who are online, but though we have a quorum tonight, so both Lisa and Lorraine can both vote online. So the first item, we don't have the May 30th minutes, do we, Mike? Okay, didn't think so. I wanted to make sure I didn't miss that. So we don't have the May 30th minutes to approve, so we'll do those at the next meeting. So the first item on the agenda really is the public comment period. So this is an opportunity for anybody to make any comments about anything that's not already on the agenda tonight.
Susan Ainsley, covering for the Board of Trustees.
Hey, Susan.
Hey.
Okay, hearing no other comments, I'll entertain a motion to close the public comment period.
Will we close?
Motion by Pat. Second by Yamila, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is to continue the public hearing for subdivision number 2023-4662. VPA Development LLC, represented by Nick Williams, is proposing to subdivide 9 Dart Drive, tax parcel number 46.1-4-1.1 into 2 lots. The planning board will determine the type of subdivision and review the final plat. Anything, Mike or Brent, you want to add? I see Nick's here too.
I'll just say something real quick, then let Brent go ahead, take over. Last meeting, we requested that Nick Williams incorporate 2 of the 18 best DEC with the best site practices, right? Is that how it is? And Nick incorporated those, and you have a site plan in front of you there. Some of it has to do with undisturbed area, or it has to do with planting of trees. There was a concern about the conveyance of stormwater from parcel C to parcel B. A natural flow would be to the pond, or the flow could be forced into the ditch running along Route 13. But if it were to be distributed to the pond via parcel B, then there would be an issue of possibly in the future, if that parcel B was ever sold, that disturbance of that conveyance would cause stormwater issues above it. I'll let Brent talk with that a little bit. He and I discussed what would be an option that could be put into the resolution. And you have a resolution there that has 2 conditions on it. I did send this over to Nick to take a look at. And that's kind of where we're at with this whole situation. If you want to add something to that, Brent.
I think that you explained it accurately, in that the idea is just to make sure that the subdivision of the lot, while we still have the current ownership as being the same for both properties, that if it's to the benefit of the developer to allow for the drainage from property C to go across property B, that's okay. That's their choice. Just that it would be good to memorialize that so that in the event that there's a sale that a future buyer didn't understand or doesn't like it, at least he's going to know it when he buys the property, because there'll be a condition, excuse me, attached to the deed. So it's kind of, Nick's choice, whatever would be best for him. But if he, the I guess the current version or the slope of the land that currently allows the water to drain across from C to B is already established, and therefore it probably makes sense for him to continue that current configuration. And this idea just kind of cleans up the language so that there's no confusion in the future.
Okay. Nick, is there anything you wanted to add? You are muted, so if there's anything you want to add, make sure you unmute first.
Yeah, sorry. No, so basically just put in a easement that is attached to the deed. That's what you're getting at for any possible future new owner or whatever.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah, I don't really see that, and it's probably for the better, anyone or for us in the future. So
And,
like-
and the other condition, Nick, was we have, I think you heard this in the last meeting, I had to put in an application to the county because you're close to Route 13. They came back saying they would like to see the building envelope displayed on the site plan. And I just put that in as a condition because when you come in for a building permit, you're gonna have a site plan that's gonna be on there anyway. So I figured that'd be pretty easy.
yeah, that's not a problem.
Okay, any comments from the board members? We'll go online first. Lisa?
No, not really. I guess one of the things, we know where we are at present, but I think at some point it was mentioned that if there is the frontage and the acreage allows for, what was it, 2 more possible parcels? Is that correct?
I would have to take a look at how it could be configured. I have not looked at that.
Oh, okay, that's all. But no, I think as long as Brent feels comfortable with the water easement and the, conveyance of water situation, I think that was our major concern as we look at whether it's a minor or major subdivision.
Okay, Lorraine, and you're muted if you want to add anything. There you go.
I'm good. I'm with Lisa.
Okay. Email?
No, this is a really good, sensible solution.
Okay. Okay, if nobody has any other comments, then we can, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing for the subdivision. We did already vote at the last meeting that it was a minor subdivision, so we can close the meeting, we can move on to the resolution.
Close.
Motion by Pat,
I'll second.
second by Yamila, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right, unanimous, okay. So then we can move on to the resolution. So this is the Village of Lansing Planning Board Resolution for final plat approval of minor subdivision number 2023-4662, adopted on June 12th, 2023. Thanks, Mike. This matter involves consideration of the following proposed action: final plat approval of a minor subdivision of tax parcel number 46.1-4-1.1 by VPA Development LLC, represented by Nick Williams, to divide an existing 3.9 acre parcel into 2 separate parcels pursuant to the provisions of section 125-6 of the Village of Lansing Code. Parcel B, containing 2.19 acres, would be located west of parcel C, containing 1.71 acres. And on May 8th, 2023 and May 30th, 2023, the Village of Lansing Planning Board, in accordance with subsection D of section 125-5 of the Village of Lansing Code, 1, reviewed the sketch plan submitted with respect to this proposed action, and 2, classified the proposed subdivision as a minor subdivision. And the planning board finds this to be a type 2 action for seeker purposes. And on May 8th, 2023, May 30th, 2023, and June 12th, 2023, the Village of Lansing Planning Board held a public hearing regarding this proposed action, and thereafter thoroughly reviewed and analyzed the proposed final subdivision plat and accompanying materials and information presented by and on behalf of the applicant in support of this proposed action, including information and materials related to environmental issues, if any, which the board deemed necessary or appropriate for its review, all other information and materials rightfully before the board, and all issues raised during the public hearing and or otherwise raised in the course of the board's deliberation. So we have 2 options. We can grant or deny the resolution. If we do grant it, there's the following conditions put on it. A, before the issuance of a building permit, owner will provide requested information stated in the attached county GML 239 report dated May 25th, 2023. And B, as a condition of subdivision approval, parcel B will provide parcel C with an easement to convey stormwater. And if we approve it, I will go ahead and sign the final plats that Mike's provided copies from. So I will entertain a motion to approve resolution number 2023-4662.
I move we approve.
Motion by Pat,
I'll second.
second by Yumila. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Lisa, did you vote?
Actually, no, I didn't, because I was sitting here with the better design practice evaluation, and I thought we asked them to pick 2 or something.
So they're already incorporated into the site plan that Mike provided. that
Okay,
has
I was
the
gonna
buffers.
say,
Yeah.
I was
so-
gonna say, is that the case? Okay,
Yes. So
I
that'll
vote
be,
yay.
okay, perfect. Yep, so yeah, that's part of all the submissions and everything that will get filed. Okay.
Okay.
So I will, Nick, there will be signed copies of what you need here at Village Hall. You can get a hold of Mike and you can stop by and get whatever signed copy or copies you need.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Okay, so the next item on the agenda was to continue the public hearing for special permit number 2023-4675. That was Louis Hom, who was applying for a special permit to, for having 2 beehives set up on his property. He couldn't make it tonight, so we'll push that to a future meeting that he can be at. Next item on the agenda is the discussion of the solar array draft law. I sent a note out about that earlier with folks being out today, either remotely or not present. We decided to push that to the next meeting also. I did send out an additional copy of that too, so make sure that if you haven't taken a look at it, take a look at it. Next item on the agenda. Oh, go ahead, Lisa.
When you sent us on the 9th, and it's, the only thing, we were also gonna address the unified solar permit thing.
Yep, Mike can speak to that.
And I
really
know
quick.
that Mike probably hasn't had a chance to look at that.
No, I'm sorry, Lisa.
Yeah, well, I
I
knew
was
that,
able
so,
to keep up, I was able to keep up with anything, but I wasn't able to get ahead on anything while I was
Right.
gone.
so I was gonna say, so I think it's really good that we're, because I
Yeah.
think that was more, that needed a little more of our attention than the law at this point. Wendy
Yeah.
probably disagrees with that, but I'm counting on her to check out the law part. All right, okay, good. I think
Okay.
that's a good decision.
Okay, so the next item on the agenda is the trustee report. I'm not sure who was there. Was that you,
Me.
Lori?
I was
Okay.
there, yep, I was
Okay.
there. So the meeting was June 5th, and so the first thing they did, the board approved 2 different bids. One was for the rental equipment for the village from June 2023 through May 2024 with Bellisario. They commented that Bellisario is the only local company that submits a bid every year. That's pretty sad, isn't it? And the other thing was they approved the bid for the water system improvement project with Core and Main LP out of Binghamton. And this is going to be happening, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, from on Graham Road from Dr. Watu's building where McCune and Murphy PT is up to 95 Graham Road. Is that right, Mike Scott?
No, sounds about right, yeah.
Okay. They also mentioned improvements to Graham Road West. The holes have been temporarily fixed and the road's going to be repaved. That was good news to hear. The other thing they talked about, discussion took place about how to lock in a lower rate of electricity. So they talked about solar and they suggested maybe, polling the village to see what they wanted to do. But they accepted the supplier Hudson for another 16-month term until they make a decision. So general discussion, they talked for about 20 minutes about garbage service for the village. They were just tossing back and forth a bunch of different ideas. I'm sure that's not the last of the conversation. That will probably keep going. They talked a little bit briefly about homelessness, and they talked about speaking to the local businesses in the area to collect data. And then regarding the upcoming meetings, they did cancel the June 19th meeting because it's a federal holiday, Juneteenth. But they decided to call a special meeting on June 26th because they had a number of things that they needed to discuss, including the budget transfers, which has to be done soon. So I'll be at that meeting, so I'll be able to report at our meeting on the 27th. And then they canceled the July 3rd meeting. I don't know who, Pat, is that you for July?
That's me.
I knew you'd be happy to hear that. So anyway, they canceled the July 3rd meeting.
Okay, anything else, or is that it?
That's it.
Okay. So the next item on the agenda is other business. There's one thing that we had spelled out. I'm not sure if you're ready or not, but we were gonna just give you a chance to talk about kind of, high points that you took away from the Planning Federation meeting that you attended, if you want to.
Yep, absolutely. I just pulled up my little notes here. So first of all, thank you to the village for sending me to this. It was actually super helpful and really informative. And I know for some people it's like very dry, but I mean, we're here on the planning board for the reasons that we find these things interesting. So, I did, the first session was an intro to planning, zoning, and land use, which was pretty basic as far as like covering how municipalities address those things. But there's a couple of interesting things that they talked about in terms of shifting zoning and how there are certain things that trends that are coming up that are begging the question, do we need to shift some of our zoning? And so some of those had to do with, the fact that our population has grown so much and the fact that we're trying to do, basically across the state, everyone's trying to do more nodal density in their areas. So that was pretty interesting. Then the next one, I did the seeker session, which again was kind of went through all the basics, but the presenter was so fascinating and kind of went off into these little tangents of these little stories of how, it looks like a really basic, straightforward thing, but in this example, it got complicated. So it was actually a really just fascinating one to sit in, and it was a crowded one. It was like standing room only in the place.
Did they announce any changes to seeker or not? I know when Jim and I went a couple years ago, it was that, and they were like, oh, by the way, here's what's changing.
Yeah, no changes to seeker. And then the next session, which I think might have been my favorite of the whole day there, Albany County Resiliency Plan. And so what they were talking about is how they had consultants come in and do resiliency planning for the whole county, and how they use some really sophisticated GIS data to overlay where there might be hazards and where there are other issues that come up within the county. So in using those maps and getting that data, then looking at how we are working through some of the thing I said earlier, how people are looking at new zoning to address different issues, and looking at some new laws of how we address certain things like stormwater issues that are going to get more and more intense as years go by. So that was great. Then let's see, the ADU session was a hotbed of lots of questions and lots of like back and forth, and really it was actually a very kind of passionate session, because a lot of municipalities are right now looking at how to address ADU and how ADU and short-term rentals kind of go hand in hand. And so there was a lot of controversy over what should or shouldn't be done. And what I thought was very interesting is that there's a little bit of a split in the people who were there and how they felt about it. Folks who were doing something on behalf of the municipality tended to be really in favor of regulation, and other members that were there that were just interested citizens were chagrined by the idea of having that kind of regulation. So not anything unexpected, but it was really interesting to see that play out writ large across the state, because you had people from all over the state. And then let's see, and then the last session, land use planning case law update, which was actually really great to see how other municipalities have handled sticky situations. So they pulled up all these different case laws and talked about how different boards have worked through the nuances of those. So it's actually, I mean, I think case studies are really a great way to learn how we apply what we do. So it was wonderful to connect with other people. It was wonderful to be at these sessions. It was wonderful to get kind of that one, like, in-person learning, especially for so many, 3 years now, we've been doing so many things just via Zoom. So having that opportunity was really wonderful. So thank you all.
Good. Okay, so other business, Lisa, anything?
No, I don't think so. I
Okay.
think some of the stuff's gonna be coming up as we, go forward. We have some interesting things coming before us, I think.
Yep.
I always think we have a situation in our village that I have for about 12 years now thought, oh, would I love to really write this up and present how absolutely not to do something at the New York Planning Federation. How we just sort of slid into over and over again little mistakes, not out of a good faith, but you know what? It can just go sideways, and I always think that. Try to maintain your sense of humor, But yeah, I think we've got one we could really entertain people with.
Yeah. Okay, Lorraine?
No, I don't have anything.
Okay. Emilia?
Nothing else today?
Yeah.
Nothing?
Okay, with that then, this might be a record, I don't know.
I think it is quick.
This one would be.
Mike,
Wait a minute, what about Mike Scott? Does Mike Scott
Oh,
have
Mike
anything?
has his hand up. Oh,
I know.
I'm not gonna keep you long, but I wanna make sure that you know, when Lorraine mentioned the 26th meeting, the reasons why they're having a special meeting, not only for the bills, there's someone coming in to give a presentation on a PDA, a possible PDA. It might be wise if planning board members have the time to kind of click in on that, to try to, listen to what the presentation is. The Board of Trustees will hear it first. If it's something that they feel that is, possible or feasible or whatnot, then it would be coming to the planning board. So it might be a good, early review, so to speak, listening in on what it is, or otherwise just, listen to the YouTube when it comes out, but might be beneficial if you want to ask questions. The other thing, like Lisa said, some of the things coming up next meeting, we'll have David Beer back here. He will be getting the information to me this week for a final site plan and get that over to you. It shouldn't be much different than what you've already seen, but I want to try to get this stuff to you as soon as possible.
Okay.
And that's that's all I got.
I also forgot Wendy, anything?
Nope, I'm all good, thank you.
Lorraine?
I just wanted to tell Mike Scott, I just want you to know I was saving that for you. I specifically did not mention that PDA because I knew that you would share that with us.
Oh, so they did bring it up in the meeting, huh?
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, I was there when the whole thing happened. I mean, when they started talking about it, and then it was quickly questioned why it was coming to the board and not the planning board. And then they're like, Lorraine, you were at the meeting. Did it come up at the meeting? And I just said, no. It's the first I've heard about it. Yeah.
no, this is the right sequence.
Yeah, that's the right sequence, yeah.
The sequence makes more sense. There's two appendices in the zoning. The first one was for Shannon Park, and this one was for Lansing Meadows. And the procedural changes in it, it makes more sense in the one that had Lansing Meadows. It goes to the trustees first. I mean, why wouldn't it? If the Board of Trustees has final say, why wouldn't they have first say on whether they even like it or not? So why waste the planning board's time?
Yep. Okay, well, with that, then I will entertain a motion to adjourn at 7:25 PM.
Moved. So moved.
Motion by Lisa.
Second.
Oh, second by Emilia, sorry, she just beat you. All in favor?
Bye.
Great, we will see everyone at the next meeting, thank you.
I'll give you a call tomorrow, Wendy.
Bye.
Great, thanks everyone online, see ya.
Good night.